All right. Hopefully you can hear me. Looks like you can. And I'll just pop on my video really quick. I'm here. The way I have my computer station is kind of weird to have the video on, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. So I'm going to take the video off, and you're just going to have my voice, and I'm going to share my screen. So this presentation, I'll try to make this quick, hopefully under about 20 minutes. But this is going to walk you through on the process of performing, recording, and uploading your performance for the demonstration speech. So hopefully, things are clear after the next 2 weeks. And if we have to do a different process for the persuasive speech, we will. But this is going to be the kind of workaround for the demonstration speech. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. And I'll make sure to link this presentation. I'm probably going to email this to you individually, both the video and this presentation. And I'll also link it in an announcement that I'm going to make before the end of the day. I'm doing this as of 11:03. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through this. And let me take care of that. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go over the process here. Essentially, all it is you're going to be recording your performance and then uploading it through YouTube, and specifically through a specific, I said specifically a lot, through a specific YouTube channel that I'm going to give you the login information in just a minute. And I'll make sure to include that in the individual emails as well. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of read some of this and give you some notes. You're going to record and upload your performance via YouTube before 11:11 by 11:59 p.m. So I'm going to pause on that for a second. Because of everything that's going on, don't worry about when your performance was due for your group day. Everything else, we're going to kind of keep the same, right? So your preparation outline, your work set, your visual aid should have been uploaded via Canvas when it was due. But for your performance, I understand that this is going to take a little bit of time to get used to. So I want to give you, a little bit of extra time if you're not group one, because group one is supposed to go 11:11. So I'm trying to give you quite a bit of time to work here. This is what, 8 days you have to do this. So I'm giving you just a little over a week to complete this. So this should be, hopefully plenty of time. So again, this is going to be due on YouTube 11:11 by 11:59 p.m. I'll mention this note a little bit later on. Don't worry about incorporating your visual aid into the recording of your performance. It can be very difficult to do that, and I don't want you to compromise space in your frame, which we'll talk about a little bit later, by trying to incorporate your visual aid. If you can, that's great. I'll talk a little bit about this later, but if you're doing like an object part of your visual aid, that might be a little bit easier to incorporate. Maybe you'll just step back from the lens of your camera and go through the object. That being said, even though don't worry about incorporating the visual aid, you would want to incorporate some performance cues. We saw this with Victoria's speech that I screened in class. Right, I edited in her Prezi when we were watching that. But you noticed in her performance, she would say things like, in this diagram, right? She'll give certain cues. So you'll want to have some performance cues like, as you can see in this photograph, or this part of the photograph. Even though you don't have it up, for the audience, they're going to have your visual aid. Your audience in this case is just going to be me. Okay, so what I'm going over today, I'm going to give you the channel information. I'm going to go through how to record and how to upload. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to do a quick demo. I'm on my PC, so I'm going to use Windows. So it's going to be a little bit different if you have like Apple, but I'll talk about a few of those things. Okay, so really quick. If you know how to already do a lot of this, right? You know how to record and upload onto YouTube, great. This part is probably the only information you really need. So when you record your video, you're going to record it onto your desktop, right? It's going to be saved onto your computer. To submit it, you're actually not going to submit it through Canvas. You're going to submit it through YouTube. But what's important here is you're going to use a specific YouTube channel. Don't submit it to your YouTube. Ignore the sign information on this slide. It's incorrect. I have it updated on the next one. I seem to have just forgot to update on this one. My apologies. So ignore that information. I'll show you the correct in just a minute. So once you recorded your video, right, your performance, which we're going to go over in the second part of this presentation, it's on your computer. You need to now upload it onto YouTube. So to upload it onto YouTube, make sure you sign out of your current YouTube account, right? If you have like Gmail, it's already logged into yours. So make sure to sign out and then sign in with the YouTube channel that we're going to use. So let me just kind of go to the next slide here. We'll come back to this. I'm going to park on the correct information. So this is the correct login information. So you might want to write this down. Again, I'll include this in the email as well. So the email that you're going to log into on YouTube is speechmcc2020@gmail.com. That's the email that you're using to log in, right? That's your sign in. No space there. And then your password is winter 2020 ! And just to be clear, winter is case sensitive. So make sure you have an uppercase W and there's no space in between. So winter, no space, 2020 ! Exclamation point. Okay, so let me just kind of go back really quick. So when you go onto YouTube, right, if you're not logged into anything, it's going to look like this. And go up to sign in. Okay, and this is what it looked like on my end, right? I had my my private Gmail account, zposada@gmail.com, already in there. I had to make sure to sign out of that, and I'm going to click use another account. Okay, and then when I put use another account, it's going to ask for that sign in information. So again, the email that you want to input here is speechmcc2020@gmail.com. And then the password, again, is winter 2020 ! And that's uppercase W on winter. Okay, so, oh, I forgot this part. If you don't, what do I want to say about this? If you're not going to do it through your computer, if you're going to use a mobile device, which you can, and I'll offer some notes on using a mobile device. Personally, I think using a computer is the easiest way to go. But if you're going to use a mobile device, you do need to follow these steps. So this is how you would log in on a mobile device. So if you don't have the YouTube app, make sure to download it through your Play Store. I took just a screenshot of my phone. That's what the app looks like, where the little arrow's pointing at. Okay, and that's going to be very similar to what we just went through, right? I'm currently logged into my private Gmail account, and you can see that in the upper right-hand corner as it says Z there. Now I want to log out of that and log in with speechmcc2020@gmail.com and the password winter 2020 ! But that's what it would look like on your mobile device. Okay, so just to kind of park here, we know how to log in. So you're logged into YouTube. You're in the proper channel. Again, you are not uploading this to your private YouTube account. You're uploading this to this channel, this YouTube account. You're literally signing in with the speechmcc2020@gmail.com and winter 2020 ! as your password. Okay, so you're logged in. I've done this in the past and I haven't had any issues, but if for any reason you try logging in and YouTube asks you like, hey, please confirm via your mobile device. If it gives you any sort of pop-up like that, or if it asks you for a code and that code is going to be sent to your mobile device, let me know immediately. You could text me at any time. Okay, I don't normally give out my phone number. I don't think it's on the syllabus. Maybe it is. But this is my phone number. Okay, my phone number is 245-0352. Just text me, say, hey, you know, you should be getting a notification from YouTube. You just have to confirm it, or just let me know like what code I have to send you, or that they sent me, that they're supposed to send me a code. Just text me for any sort of like mobile device security thing that I need to grant access to. Again, this hasn't happened in the past, so hopefully it won't happen again, but you know, just in case. Okay, so you're logged in. Now, I am going to go over how I would like you to record these performances. So even if you know how to do all of this, please stick around for a little bit longer. You could probably, you know, get out of this pretty soon, but let me kind of go over some tips on recording the performance. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what the setup should look like. And when I say the setup, I'm talking about the camera setup and the positioning of the lens. So like right now, if I open, where is it? Oh, I don't know what I did now. Well, anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and enable my video really quick. There we go. So this is not right, right? The shot scale is close. We're in a medium, but I'm way too low in the frame, right? I should really be something more like this. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. So get rid of that. Okay. So up top, I'm going to go over the medium shot. The medium shot is this, okay, sort of where the frame, and I'll use my little annotate tool to go over some of this in my spotlight. So if this is your frame, right, the border of the box that you're taking the video from, notice where the frame cuts off. So the bottom of the frame is about mid-chest. Top of the frame, you have a little bit of space above the head. The human subject takes up the center of the frame. And I'll talk about this in just a minute. But whenever you see something like this, where there's sort of an equal ratio of the human subject and the space in the frame, that's usually called a medium shot. So I'm going to go over the medium shot, but know that you can also do a full shot. A full shot is approximately head to toe. Obviously, if you do that, you're further away from the lens on your, the lens on your computer. So a full shot is totally fine, but if you're stepping away from your computer, you are now shortening the distance of your, your voice to the microphone on the camera. The microphone is placed near the lens of your webcam. The webcam, if you're using like a laptop, is stationed at the top of the monitor. It's a little circle. That's the lens. Next to it is usually where the onboard mic is. Also, feel free to use headphones. And if your headphones has a built-in mic, that seems to work pretty well. That's what I use. That's what I'm using right now. You don't hear yourself through the headphones, but if your headphones has an onboard mic, it's much closer to your chest, which is actually the best way to kind of get a mic positioning. So if you can, use headphones with a built-in mic, and then you can, move however you like, as long as the cord on the headphones is long enough. Anyway, so you can totally do a full shot. Just be careful of how close you are to the microphone. Also, feel free to move. So for example, maybe you do most of your speech in that kind of medium shot scale, right? Something like this. But then at a certain point, I'm just making this up, maybe you want to demonstrate juggling, okay? Now you want to use an object. And again, remember, you do not have to incorporate your visual aid in the recording, but I'm just using this as an example. So now you want to show the audience you actually juggling. Well, if you want to do that, well, you can actually take several steps back away from the lens. And now you're going to be in more of a full shot, which looks something like this. And you could do your movement. You can do, whatever you're trying to do to talk through your visual aid that you want to demonstrate. And then when you're done, just come back to that, medium shot framing. Again, you do not have to do that. I'm just throwing it out there essentially. So that's medium shot. That's full shot. Again, you could do your entire performance in a full shot if you'd like. That's really the best, to be honest, because I'm able to see, gestures, nonverbal cues, stuff like that. That being said, I don't require it because if you don't have a microphone, or I'm sorry, if you don't have headphones with a built-in microphone and you're using the microphones on the computer, notice how far the human subject is from the lens here. As they're speaking, they'd have to speak pretty loudly for that audio to get picked up. So again, whatever works best for you, know that you can totally just do a medium. Okay, so let's talk about framing for a medium shot really quick. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but again, just be cognizant of where you're positioning yourself in relation to the frame. So this is our frame. This little grid that I have on here is called a rule of thirds grid, which is actually a little bit off. These lines should be more so like over here. But anyway, notice you have a left third, center, right third, top third, center, bottom third. All I care about is that you are in center of the frame. Try to get your eye line somewhere near this top line, okay? Give yourself a little bit of headroom. Headroom is this little space above the subject's head and the border of the frame, right? They're not cutting off their head in any way. Also, kind of keep this medium scale so we can see hand gestures. That's really about all I have. The only other thing I'll throw out there, and I'll say this again, the lens on your webcam is your audience, right? So when I assess you on eye contact, it's when you are looking to the lens of the webcam. Another note with that, it's very easy for me to tell if you're reading your preparation outline on the monitor rather than looking at the lens. So please don't read your preparation outline, right? Use the same process as you would in class. Have your note cards in front of you and just use the webcam lens as your audience. Okay, so some general tips for recording. Make sure the room and you are well lit. If you can, honestly, the easiest way to do this, just do it during the day. Okay, do it during the day, and hopefully you're in a room with a window. That window will provide you plenty of exposure for the camera. If for some reason you cannot record during the day and you don't have access to windows, use light around you. Like I have a little, again, I'll do my video here. Like I'm doing this pretty late at night and the sun's gone down, and I have just a little desk lamp that I use as like a little fill light. So, you know, try to supplement your light as much as you can. Follow the general setup rule of this medium neutral frontal. And there's a couple things I didn't talk about, but it's probably pretty self-explanatory. So medium is the shot scale we're talking about. Neutral is the angle. So like right now, my video, this is a high angle, right? We don't want this. Notice how the camera lens is above me. Again, we want to kind of be on the same level. I'm not going to pop up in my chair again, but we want to be like this guy, right? Eye level with the lens. So that's your angle, a neutral angle. And then position just means how the person is placed in the frame. Notice their face is facing the lens, right? We have a frontal position. Please don't do, again, I guess I'll use my own head as an example. Don't do a profile, okay? And don't do a rear where you have the back of your head. Not that I think anybody would probably do that, but I'm just letting you know, right? Do frontal. Right now, I'm in a frontal position. He's in a frontal position. Okay. What else do I have here? We already talked about this. Look near the lens. This is just a little note. Please don't get distracted by the on-screen reference of yourself. Some applications allow you to minimize your screen. Feel free to do that while you're recording. Again, your eye line should be looking at the lens. Don't get distracted. Don't leave too much negative space in the frame. You should dominate the frame. Again, don't really worry about that, but negative space is just, so like, for example, this is negative space, and that's fine, right? He's center, he's taking up most of the frame. That's all I'm looking for. This is a big note, okay? Make sure you perform your speech in one long take. So again, I'm allowing you to record these instead of trying to perform them through Zoom, just because I don't know how that would happen, how we're going to schedule time for you to do Zoom. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do recordings. That being said, you do need to perform your recording in one long take. What does that mean? That means one simultaneous recording. Do not try to cheat it, right? Don't record 2 minutes of your speech, stop the recording, then make a new recording for the next 2 minutes, stop, and then through an editing program, edit those together. I will be able to tell. That's called a jump cut. Don't do it. If I notice that you do it, you're going to get a 0, right? I need to see that you're performing the speech live. Even though it's not live because it's recorded, it being in one long take makes it live, if that makes sense. So perform it in one long take. Another piece of advice, use 5-second buffers both at the start and at the end. This is kind of like our 7-step speech primer, but it also works on a practical level. This is actually really important, and I probably should have emphasized this more. As soon as you hit record, don't immediately start talking. It's going to take a second to get focused, to get in sync. And if you start speaking immediately, it's going to mess up the take. So give yourself 5 seconds is probably quite a bit, but 3 to 5 seconds of silence after you press record. Take a breath, establish eye contact with the lens, begin your speech. And then when you're done with the speech, give it a couple seconds, then hit stop recording. So that's what I mean about buffers at the start and end of your recording. Okay, so again, I'm now going to go over how to actually record off the webcam on a computer. Many of you probably already know how to do this, and if you do, again, you could probably check out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in here that's important. Okay, but I'm going to go over this quickly, and I'll also do a live version of this later for Windows. I'll go through the whole thing from recording it to putting it onto your desktop to uploading it. All right, so how to record computer/laptop. Quick note, again, this is, maybe I should have edited this a bit more, but this is a presentation I made for my fall class when we transition online in the middle of the semester. So some of these things might seem a little awkward, but I'll make a note here about going live. Please do not choose the go live option on YouTube where you can record through the YouTube app. That's just caused many issues in the past. It takes a while for the stream to become constant. And a lot of times those videos aren't fully rendered by the time we're supposed to watch them. So don't choose the live option, just choose the upload option, right? You're going to record it onto your computer or onto your mobile device and then upload it to YouTube. I'll talk more about the mobile device in just a minute. But if you're going to use a mobile device, you may need to use there's like a different function, but essentially they're a live function because videos take up so much space. But again, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, so computer, laptop. To record, if you're using Windows, go to your start panel, go down to your camera app. Once you open up the camera app, you're going to see 2 different camera icons. And I'll go through this later on. Make sure you click the video icon. Okay, then once you click that video icon, click it again to start the recording. You'll see a time code on the bottom. It'll pop up. And then to end the recording, just press the stop icon. It saves the file of your recording in camera roll. It saves it in photos, essentially. And, I'm sure going through YouTube, when you go to select a file, you can find it that way. I'm going to show you how to copy that and paste it onto your desktop, which will make it easier. Okay, if you're using Mac, and I have screen grabs of this too in just a bit, but if you're using a Mac, go to your Launchpad, open up the QuickTime app. Once you have that open, go up to File at the top tab of your screen. Click File, choose New Movie Recording, not screen recording, movie recording. Once you click New Movie Recording, you'll get a pop-up. It looks almost kind of like a player menu. You're going to click the red record icon to start recording. You will see time code and audio decibels. I'll talk about that in a minute. and then click the stop icon to end the recording. Once you finish the recording, you'll see the save as pop-up window, and then you can fill out wherever you want to save it, if you want to save it into the desktop or a specific folder. All right, so let's see some of these screen grabs. So this is Windows. This is a little bit of an older, I almost said application, an older version of Windows, and essentially an older version of their camera app. But once you open it up, you'll see something like this. And notice the first one is for still photographs. And then the other icon looks like a different camera. It's like a film camera. You want to click that camera. Okay, so once you click that, it'll open up a different view. Here's your record button. Once you're ready, you're all set in the frame. You're in your approximately, medium shot. Your framing's right. Everything's ready to go. You're going to click the record button. So once you click it, you're going to see your time code telling you how long the recording is. Begin your speech, perform your entire speech, and then hit the record button again. Again, if you hit pause and resume, stuff like that, it's essentially, it'll look the same as a jump cut. It's very easy to tell when you're doing that. Don't do it, right? As soon as you hit record, perform your whole speech beginning to end, and then hit it again to stop and save it. Okay, so this is for Mac. Okay, so once you open up the QuickTime Player app, which comes with, I think, all Mac products, you just open it up through your Launchpad, which is on your toolbar in the bottom. Open up the QuickTime Player app. Once you do that, you're going to go up to File, New Movie Recording, and you're going to get this. Very similar to the previous one. Here's your record button. You click, take your recording. You'll start to see a time code right here. You'll also see your decibels. That's for your sound. For the most part, just make sure that it's not too low so you don't have like greens that are down to here. And also that you're not hitting reds. You don't want to see reds in your decibels. Try to keep in the green to yellow space, usually about here. Okay, so some quick tips for recording via computer/laptop. We kind of talked about these already, but locate the lens of the camera. It's usually the top of the monitor. The microphone is stationed right next to that lens. Again, treat the lens like it's your audience. You want to keep your eye contact on that lens as much as possible. Second, adjust your seating height and or the height of the computer/laptop to get to that neutral angle. You can also prop your laptop up on a stack of books. So again, I don't know if I should, this is going to be kind of awkward, but I'm going to see what happens if I just adjust this, right? So this is not changing the angle as much, right? This is now just changing the framing. We don't have all that negative space up top. But if I were to increase my seat and then also lower my entire computer, right now it's on a stand, and I'm not going to take it down. But if I were to lower my entire computer on the stand, it'd become more of a neutral angle. But even something like this would be okay, right? This is fine. Okay, so just make sure that you reset to be an approximate medium shot, about neutral angle frontal position for your speech. Again, what I have right now, I would totally accept. This is fine. Okay. So we talked about that. Adjust how far you are to the computer to set the shot scale and framing. We just talked about that. Once you're done recording your performance, watch it through. Always watch your finished take. For Windows, it's especially important to play back to check audio levels and clarity. I'll pause on that for a second. The Windows application, I don't think, we'll find out because I have like the latest one, but I don't think has like a decibel range. So you don't know what your audio level is at. So you definitely want to play it back to make sure your audio is picked up clearly enough. Okay, but yeah, just make sure to rewatch the whole thing to make sure that it didn't cut out at any point. All right. If you're using a mobile device, go the direct to YouTube route as shown earlier in this presentation. That's not true. I moved some things. I'll show you guys this in just a minute. What do I want to say? Let's go to that and I'll just kind of talk you through. I'll come back to that. I should have had this open before. So this is what the mobile device looks like. So the first one here, right, we're on our home page. Again, this is going to be different, but you're going to hit the little camera. You're going to click that. Now it's going to give you two different options. Go ahead, and what did I say? I think I said go live, right? Where was I? Yes. So yeah, I said go live for here for the file size. So again, you can do this two ways. If you record it, it'll save it onto the I was gonna say SD card. I guess they are SD cards. They're like mini SD cards on the phone itself or on the mobile device. But that might take up too much space. You might literally not have enough space to do it. So for this, if you have to use a mobile device, choose the go live function. Once you click that, you'll see a very similar interface here. So click go live, now record, click go live, and you're gonna see this. There's your record button. This is built into the app. This flips the lens. So right now the lens was, facing how it would normally face. You want to make sure you flip the lens to be in selfie mode. So the lens is, looking at you. So click that. Once you hit record, you're going to see your time code pop up here. Now let me give you some notes on mobile device. Okay, so we talked about that. Please do not just hold up your phone in front of you. If you're going to use a mobile device, prop it on top of something. Use the kickstand on your phone to set it on like a dresser. Anything that you're going to get that approximate neutral angle, medium shot, frontal position. Prop up your phone. Even if you are sitting, you will need to set the phone at an elevated level. Really, again, my big note, do not just hold the phone in front of you. You need to stabilize your phone, use a kickstand or lean it up against something like a book or have someone record you. That's another option. A lot of students have done that in the past. Another quick note, again, not a deal breaker, but for a lot of phones, you want to shoot it horizontally. You want to actually flip your phone over horizontally. Victoria's video was shot vertically and it was totally fine, right? So again, not a deal breaker. The one thing though to be aware of, and I think I talked about this a little bit in class, but for most mobile devices, if you try to zoom in, it's going to actually crop your video and it's going to reduce the clarity. So try not to zoom unless you have like that new iPhone with the separate prime lenses. Okay. What do I got? I don't know why I have this here. I'll come back to this. Let's talk about uploading. So we'll come back to uploading for what's what I'm looking for? Laptop-based recordings, but mobile device. We talked about how you record it. It's on there. Now, once you're done, so like I took a 2-second video here. I can play it back by hitting play. So I have it recorded. Here it is. I'm going to now click upload. It brings me up to this breakdown, and I'm going to title it. And I'll go over this in just a bit, but title it in this format. So demonstration speech _ your last name. Privacy, you could just do unlisted. Okay. Then so when you have that filled out, just hit upload again, and your video will actually be uploaded. Okay. So that was for mobile device. Now let's talk about if you're doing it with your computer. So you have it recorded on your computer, the file. Now you need to upload it onto YouTube. So go to YouTube, log in with speechmcc2020@gmail.com, password winter2020 ! Uppercase W. Then click the upload video icon. It looks like a camera with a plus on it. I'm sure I have, well, I should have had a separate thing, but it's right here. See where my cursor is, the red dot? That is the icon you want to click, okay? You'll see it over here too. Sorry, I should have had a separate picture for this, but I just want to show you the home page where that would be. So this is your home page, right? So you would sign in, click this. All right, so let's go back. All right, so you click that icon. You're going to select upload video, browse/select file, or drag and drop. So that's one of two ways, right? If you do browse select file, it's going to open up the Finder window on your computer where you're going to go through all your different files, double click the one you want to upload. Or you can just drag and drop if you say have it on your desktop. Wait for the file to process. This is a big one. Do not wait until the last minute. Okay, do not wait on 11/11 at 11:50 p.m. to do this. You know, these videos are going to be at least, 8 minutes long. Well, right, they should be 5:30 to 7:30, but they usually take a little bit longer. So let's say it's about 8 minutes. It takes a while for that to upload. So give it time. Do not stay on the page as it's uploading and processing. Don't exit out of the window. When you're completing the information, ignore this note. Boy, I have a lot of typos on this. I'm sorry. Ignore this note. This is from a totally different class, but do this one. Fill in the title. Just do demonstration speech _ your last name. Then when it's processed, go ahead and click publish, and it'll also provide you the URL. This is what it will kind of look like. So you have it uploaded. I put in my title. Again, this is for a totally different class, but the title would be demonstration speech _ Posada. Good. I see the processing is done. I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. Then when it's published, I feel like I have slides all over the place. Oh, well, sorry. So you hit publish, and I think I have, I guess I don't. Well, you hit publish. And again, once it's published, it'll give you a different pop-up window with your URL. You also see the URL right here. You don't have to do anything with that. Once it's published and you get that URL there, you're good. You may want to double check, which I have over here. Okay, which again, sorry about the kind of mess here, but I kind of threw this together pretty quickly. So if you uploaded, you hit publish, but hey, I want to double check that it went through properly. Well, to do that, just go back to the home page for YouTube, click this icon. Okay, so click, it'll be a little bit different for us. I think it's just S, but you click that upper right-hand corner icon once you log in, you get this drop-down window and hit YouTube Studio. Now you're in YouTube Studio. For us, unless you're using a mobile device, it's going to all be in uploads. So just click uploads. Okay, and then make sure you're in the video subtab, and you're going to actually see whatever videos have been uploaded. I deleted all of my other classes except for 2 videos. So, we shouldn't be dealing with too many, but you should be able to see your video posted here. And then you can just click the video and it'll open up. Okay. And yes, once you click it, you get this. You can play it here. You can also click the link and it'll actually bring you to the YouTube page. All right, so some final do's and don'ts. Again, treat the lens like it's your audience. Dress appropriately. That's not a huge deal, but please don't do it in your pajamas. You do want to rehearse a speech just like you would for our class, right? Rehearse it, but it's especially important for the recording. Give yourself a practice run before you actually hit the record button. Use buffers at the start and end. We talked about that already. Some don'ts. These aren't big deals. Again, this was a note for my old class. I don't think this is going to be an issue for us, but it's obviously going to be a little bit more informal than it would in front of a class. I don't require you to have an audience. That would be a different scenario if this was a scheduled online class, but this is sort of a, for lack of a better term, in case of emergency workaround. So, I'm not going to put that on you to try to get an audience. But anyway, kind of pretend like you still are doing it in front of an audience. Try to keep it somewhat formal. Don't perform the speech in a noisy / messy environment. The big deal, again, I don't really care what's in the background of your video as long as it's school appropriate, but you don't have to redesign your bedroom or whatever. But this one's important. Try not to do it in a noisy environment. Some students, and it actually works out pretty well for the audio, do it in a closet. Close the closet, bring in a light in there, and it actually worked pretty well. But you don't want to have too much interference on the audio. I'll say this last note. If you don't have access to technology, let me know. Obviously, you're not supposed to come to campus. And I'm assuming you have access to either a laptop or a mobile device with internet. So that hopefully isn't an issue. If it is, you have to let me know and we will figure something else out. Okay. Again, visual aids. Your visual aid does not have to be, don't worry about should not, but does not have to be in your recording. I'm not going to ask you to record your performance, then process that through an editing software to cut between the visual aid and your performance. Also, I don't want you to get too concerned with like, hey, am I in the frame? Is my visual aid in the frame? Excuse me. So please don't worry about that. I'll just grade your visual aid separately, but you should consider cues in your speech for the visual aid. I just kind of talked about that. All right. I know I went way over my 20 minutes. I don't know how long I've been doing this, but more than 20 minutes. So that is about it. Okay, I'm gonna do a live demo just in case you guys want it, but you have the most important piece of information. So just remember, you're recording your performance on your computer or mobile device. You're then uploading it to YouTube. And remember, you are uploading it to that specific channel, speechmcc2020@gmail.com, password winter2020 ! And the W in winter is uppercase. That's all you need to do. You don't need to send me the link, anything like that. I'm going to go in there and check your recordings. All you need to do is record and upload. Remember your, what I should say is your uploaded performance, but your recorded performance is due via YouTube, right? It needs to be uploaded by 11/11 before 11:59 p.m. Again, I think that's plenty of time. Obviously, if there's any issues, let me know, but that should be enough time. You have more than a week to do that. If your performance is not uploaded by 11/11, just know that I'm going to reset the password probably at the start of 11/12. Okay, so you should be good to go. Again, anyone else who wants to stick around, I'm now going to do a quick demonstration on recording and uploading. If you have any questions, obviously reach out to me at any time, zposada@mchenry.edu. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do a little demo. And this will run through the entire process. And let me go ahead and get my video up. There we go. So again, my video, this isn't perfect, but it's okay. Now let's get out of this. Whoops. And I'm going to share, hopefully this will work. I'm going to share my screen. I need to exit out of this. Give me 1 second. There we go. And now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so you should be on my home page. So again, this is for Windows. So step 1, I need to record my performance. So to do that, I'm going to go over, I'll use my little annotate tool. Go over to my start menu. Okay, this is where I have a bunch of different apps. I'm going to go down to camera. And let's see if this works. Yeah, it wants me to close other apps. It looks like another app is using the camera already. If you need it, here's the error code. Well, what happens? Let's see what happens. This is the first time I've done this. Let's exit out of that. What if I stop the video on this and I'm still sharing my screen? And we'll go camera. There we go. Okay, so you should be seeing this. All right, so I'm in the Windows camera. Now this defaulted to the video recording, but when I first, because I kind of did a practice run, it originally started with this, right? It looked like this. This is the still photos. You don't want that. So step 1, go to the camera, right? It says video, click. Okay, I'm ready for my performance. I got my note card in front of me. This is pretty good for framing. It'll work. I'm ready to go. Now remember my buffers. I'm going to hit record. And then I start my speech. and I go through the entire speech. About 6 minutes later, I'm done. And now I give it another pause, another 3-second buffer. And now I'm going to hit stop, which is right here. Okay. And as soon as I hit that, it'll take this recording and make it a video. As I kind of mentioned before, there's no reference for audio, which is unfortunate. So we do want to double check on this. But notice where my cursor is. This is giving me the time code. Don't get distracted by that, but sometimes you may want to reference to see how long your speech is at, right? It's kind of like me doing the 2, 4 reminders. Okay, so I'm done with my speech. I give it another, I know I already did this, but my end buffer. Okay, now I'm going to hit stop recording. There we go. And you see my thumbnail come up over there. Now this gets a little weird. So I'm going to kind of show you a different method. Okay, so let's go to, okay, so I'm going to actually close this application. So I'm going to go ahead and hit X. Okay, so I'm back on my home screen. And I'm going to go to my photos. Okay, for Windows, I just have my little file explorer right here on the bottom. Okay, I'm sure there's other ways of doing it too, but I'm going to do it through here. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go to photos or pictures. See if this works. Camera roll. This should be it. Let's see what happens if I open it up. I'm going to double click. There we go. There's my awkward video. Okay, there it is. So let's get out of there. Now, it might be, totally fine to upload it through here, but I like to keep it easy, and I'm just going to copy and paste this onto my desktop. So I'm going to click, right-click, copy, exit out of this. I'm back on my desktop, right-click, paste. Give it a second. Okay, there we go. I think it's still processing, right? Sync pending. Give it a minute. There we go. You get your little check mark on the thumbnail. So there's my video. Now it's on my desktop. So this is going to make it a lot easier to upload it onto YouTube, which I'm going to do right now. So just to make sure that I don't lose connection, I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to go ahead and share YouTube. Give it a second. Who knows what's going to be on this home page. All right, there we go. So I'm already in the sign in for our speech class. So let's go through it. So again, normally you may have to log in, but I'm already in speech 151. I'm also going to say this. Make sure that you log out after you're done and that you don't start doing your own private YouTube browsing while you're still logged into this. That has happened, and that's why there's some some random stuff on this page. Anyway, let's go through this. So I signed in. I'm in speech 151. Great. Now let's upload that video. I'm going to go to the camera icon, right here. Now I'm not going to do go live. All right, I'm going to upload video because that video is on my desktop. I should get a pop-up window. Now, again, you could just drag and drop, right? If I were to sort of, shrink this down, I could drag and drop my desktop video, but I'm going to go to select files. Excuse me. So if I just go to desktop, there's my video right there. And I didn't say this, but you probably want to rename your video. Why don't we do that? I'm going to stop the share here. And I'm going to share this again. Okay, so I probably should have renamed this already, right? I kind of have this goofy file name. I'm going to right click, rename. And I'm just gonna go demo speech. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop share. I'll share back on our YouTube. Okay, so again, you could do this two ways, right? If I just hit my, not minimize, but they call it restore down, but just that I collapse the window, right? It's on part of my screen. I can literally just take my video on the desktop and drag and drop it in. And if I were to let go, it'll do it. But I'm not going to do it that process just so I can show you the other way too. So let's go back. So I'm going to go select files, desktop, demo speech, open. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit. Okay, so it's uploading. You can see the percentages going on the bottom of the screen. Notice it takes the file name of whatever I called my file that I uploaded. So I'm going to go demonstration. I hope I'm spelling this right. Demonstration speech _ SATA. All right. And that's really all I need for the title. Now, as you're kind of going through, don't worry about the thumbnail. Don't worry about the description. Don't worry about playlist. This is a new feature for, I almost said Amazon, for YouTube. You have to say if it's made for kids or not. Just always say, no, it's not made for kids, okay? Then I'm gonna hit next. Don't worry about any of this. Hit next. And this is up to you. I would just go unlisted. Okay, now I see on the bottom, HD finished processing. So it's finished processing. So it should be ready to go. Let's see what happens if I click this. Good. So I can already see the thumbnail of my video and I can play through it. But let's go ahead and hit save. Good. Video published. It's right here. There's my link. I can hit close. Now I'm going to go back just to kind of show you guys my steps here. Go back to YouTube. If I could figure that out. YouTube. I just want to go back to the home page. Give it a second. There we go. So I'm back on our home page. If I want to double check on my video, I'm going to click the S in the upper right hand corner. I'm going to go to YouTube Studio. Don't go to your channel, because if you go to your channel, your video won't pop up if you made it unlisted. So I went to YouTube Studio, go into videos, and I see there's my speech. And again, please don't ever delete anything, please. I'm kind of giving you a lot of access here by just giving the login. But these are two speeches from my previous class, so just leave those alone. There's my speech, so if I just want to check that it uploaded, yes, it did. I can click it. Okay, good. I could then go to the video link itself and give it a second. There it is. All right. I think that's it. I'm going to stop my share. Okay. So that's it. I went over that process. Again, if you have any questions, please email me. Please let me know. But this covered everything. So I expect your uploaded video by 11/11 by 11:59 p.m. All right. Thank you. I'll see you later.